What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. Welcome to the ARRL International Digital Contest. If you're not getting in on that, you should do that now. That's what I braked from doing to do this live stream. So enjoy the memes. We'll get started soon. We're going to be talking about using one microphone, one mic to rule them all. One mic for computer, one mic for radio, and in the digital modes, bind them in darkness. Something like that. Something from Lord of the Rings. We'll get started soon. Alrighty, everybody. How's it going? I hope you are actually participating in the ARRL digital contest that is going on right now. I've been having a lot of fun on FT4. I feel like there's a lot of contacts to be made right now. I actually got a contact in everything but the low bands. I got to get down into 40, 80, and try 160, I guess. But anyway, that's not today's show. Today is a patron picks episode voted on by the patrons. They wanted to hear two things. We actually had a tie, and I feel that both are I could fit them into an hour. So the first half of the show is going to be talking about using one microphone like this one to connect to your radio and your computer for computer things and for radio things without having to buy a bunch of extra mics, spend money, get one good microphone, and interface it across all your devices. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. Dawn N5SKT. No, just the HF band. So 6 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters. And I haven't done any of the low band stuff yet. So thanks, Dawn, for clarifying. But anyway, so yeah, microphones, hugely important, right? In our lifestyle that we live in today, with everybody being on Zoom meetings and whatnot, how much of a baller do you look if you roll into one of the Zoom meetings and you've got a boom set up like this and you're like, hello, everybody. How do I sound today? Can you hear me? Am I sharing my desktop? Can you see the slides? Thank you very much. All of a sudden, major street cred when you pull one of those maneuvers. Anyway. All right, so what are we talking about today? Well, indeed, just a reminder, the ARRL International Digital Contest is live right now and goes through tomorrow, 2400 Zulu, and it is 160 meters, 80 meters, 40, 20, 15, 10, and 6 meters. Basically, any digital mode you want to do, as long as you can do the exchange, except RTTY. Show us the shirt, says Anthony. Sure, this is the 1X Crew t-shirt. This is from Leia's I'm With the Bands line. I'm with the bands. And it's in reference to the 1X Crew for our podcast, the Ham Radio Crash Course. So if you watch that or listen to that, do appreciate it. All right. What else are we talking about today? With that said, I want to give a shout out. Why is it multicast? Multipass. M3FJP is the logger that I generally play around with when I do contesting because it's just pretty straightforward. It's not the heaviest of frills like N1MM does every bloody thing you'd want it to do. But I generally use N3FJP. It's a really good piece of software for doing contesting because you just download the version of it for whatever contest you're participating in. And it's always really, really easy to use. So anyway, if you want to help out the channel, consider buying something off of hamtactical.com. It's the store that my wife runs, and it's all merch that we cook up from the podcast and from the YouTubes here. Like this shirt, the 1X Crew, if you are a podcast enjoyer. Also in the description is a link to all the things I'm going to be talking about today. This is pretty much all the gear that I use to do what we're going to be talking about, and a couple of options on microphones, because not everybody wants to drop the bills on a PR40 here, which is a really expensive Heil mic, which you can see is like $350. So if you want something less expensive, Shure makes it. Heil obviously has less expensive ones too. But again, we're talking about one microphone connecting to computer and radio and making it easy on yourself. How do you make it easy, still have fun, but spend the money once and use it for other things, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right. I am watching the chat, so if anybody has a question, just hit me up with a @Ham Radio Crash Course and ask your question, and I'll see it. All right, very good. And yes, Skylar, thanks for your email on the podcast earlier this week. And if you didn't see or didn't hear it, it dropped yesterday. All right. So what's our goal here is to stop messing around with a bunch of mics. Not to mention, this is a side goal, but most radios come with microphones, handheld PTT mics, kind of like this because it's on. Kind of like this little wireless mic. Hand mics are okay, and in a car, it's kind of like the preferred way to go. But when you're operating on HF or even at home on VHF, UHF in a fixed station in your shack, you sometimes want something that's just kind of right here. You don't have to hold it, don't have to do anything, just use it and have something pretty good quality. So that's kind of the one of the main points here is step up to a better mic, but use it in all the places possible. So buy one decent mic, but use it for everything. Use it for your computer, use it for your radio, etc., etc. There are lots of ways of doing this. I am showing you one example. We'll talk about some others as well, but this is generally my recommendations. So pro mics versus radio company mic, and I'm using radio company as a generic thing. Basically, a pro mic is anything that takes an XLR. So professional, a band, a musician, a broadcaster, etc., etc., etc. Those will work with your ham radios too, but we sometimes have to play a little bit of games because radio companies use specific pinouts, specific connector types, so that you kind of are somewhat locked into their branding, their marketing, and the devices they make. Which, by the way, I'm not throwing any shade at Yaesu here, but that is a very expensive microphone for $660. That is on the HRO website. It's probably amazing, but at the same time, I don't really have interest in a desk mic. I prefer the boom. Give me my space back. Allow me to have things out on the desk, which makes my life a little bit easier. So XLR pro mics, and again, pro in this case is like what a professional would use, what a professional musician would use. It doesn't necessarily mean expensive. It just means that you're more going into the audio profession area. Someone who uses an instrument, their instrument could be their voice, or they're a podcaster, a broadcaster for news, radio, etc., etc., all that stuff. So real quick shout out. No, I will not, Siri. No, I will not. Skylar, thank you so much for subscribing there as a member. Really appreciate it. And Don, member for 16 months. Appreciate it, Don. He said, renewed my license, 30 years, an extra class ham. Congratulations, Don. That's pretty cool. 30 years as a ham. That's a nice little, let's make that a little bit bigger there. That's a nice little anniversary. Very cool. Oh, interesting. Skylar has a question. So thanks, Skylar, for joining as a member. I'll take your question right now. He says, I have an FT70D. I would like to get my general. So is there a handheld for 6 meter or 10? There used to be handhelds for 6 meters and 10. Generally, though, if it's a proper HT, right? So if it's like a handheld radio, kind of like this ID52. In fact, I'll go back to me for a second here. If it's like an ID52 that you hold like this, right, this guy, any of the radios that did 6 meters and 10 meters, they largely only did FM, which is of little use. You want single sideband a lot of times for 6 meters and 10 meters. So what some people do, and this is something you can do today, is have a QRP type radio that does 10 meters or 6 meters and use that and just focus on that being your solution for getting on those particular bands in a portable setting. So there, hope that helped. Okay. So the secret behind this whole thing is having a mixer, or in my case, an audio interface. You are looking at the audio interface I use. Here's the big secret, guys. This is a Focusrite Scarlett. It has 2 inputs in the front, which are XLR. Actually, they're combo port. It'll take XLR or 3 1/4, 2 1/3, whatever, 3/4 inch drive connectors, and then they have 2 inputs on the back and 4 outputs. So it's actually a pretty nice unit, as well as having MIDI in and MIDI out. MIDI is less important for amateur radio operators. We don't really use MIDI, but it's something that is nice if you're maybe you're a musician and you like to dink around on a digital audio workstation, which is software that you run on your computer. Having an audio interface is invaluable, not just for ham radio for using a microphone like this, but also for musicians. And so the Focusrite 2i2 might not be big enough for whatever it is you want to do, but for ham radio, it works just great. And the secret sauce on all this, and this is the thing that's most important, 1/4-inch TRS. Thank you, Jody. The thing that you want to focus on there is that USB-C. You could use different USB ports, but you want an audio interface that has a USB-capable interface, not one that has a USB port for sending audio in. I got stuck with I think it was a Behringer, one of their really nice live musician huge mixer that uses an iPad app. It had a USB port, so it tricked me. I was like, okay, yeah, right on. And then maybe I'll plug a keyboard into it with my big synthesizer dreams. It turned out that was only for inputting audio or inputting data into the mixer, which is of no value. You want USB-C. You want something that has a USB out. So what we're doing here is we're going to leverage the microphone XLR cable going into the Focusrite Scarlett. This is a 4i4. Is that what I have? I do have a 4i4. Look at that. You're going to leverage that XLR going into the audio interface and then outbound over USB-C to your computer. So this mic who's now sending data into the computer. And then we're going to use that 1/4-inch jack on the back to go into our ham radio. So all we need to do is be able to convert from an XLR plug to a 1/4-inch TRS connector. Then into the radio. But how do we do that? XLRs don't match, as I already said, right? They are very specific in that they only have 3 pins or sometimes 4 pins for a balanced XLR cable versus ham radio ports, totally different. What do? Well, you don't do that. That's not the way. So just an FYI, these are relatively inexpensive. If you go with the 2x2 audio interface, which is at the bottom there, it's about $180. And if you go with the Focusrite 4i4, which is the one I have, it's about $230. So not cheap, but again, you're leveraging what capability is already there. Interesting. Pigeon Man has a good question. I will touch on this briefly as we go further. He asked about suggestions on phantom power to avoid the TRS to the PC. I use the phantom power on this unit. This unit has phantom power. There's actually a 48 volt phantom power that you can turn on. So good stuff on that. And I will talk a little bit when I get to it about inline audio devices that will that act as amplifiers, a preamp, if you will. Okay. Bob Heil Sound, right? We all know and love Heil Sound. They actually have a series of products that will convert your microphone XLR, your Pro Mic connector, which you can see there is that little blue with the 3 pins, into whichever radio you want to connect to. So ICOMs, Yaesus, etc., etc. Ham Radio Pen Pals. Paul. Hey, how's it going, Paul? This is all I have left. AV Equipment Week. Right on. This is all you have, meaning this is what you've been waiting for? You need audio equipment? So good. I hope I'm helping you. 3-pin is balanced, 4-pin stereo. That's it, Cameron. Thank you for that. So with the Heil cable, you're basically just converting your XLR standard cable into that for ICOM. That's what I use. I have an ICOM 7610, so I just have a simple adapter for it. And if you notice that little connector, that mono plug there right in the middle, that actually supports a foot pedal. So you can have, a foot pedal that you step on and start talking into the microphone for transmitting on your radio, which is generally way, way better than having a PTT or some kind of push button thing from my point of view. Everybody is a bit different. Appreciate that you may like the triggers, the trigger handhelds, or the slappy push button on-off PTT button. Felix Farquharson, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it, bud. Hope this is helpful. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward thing here. Most of you probably already know this stuff, but for those of you that are a little bit new to this, that's why we're doing it today. Dawn, N5SKT, good question. Does Heil have a converter for the True STX? I don't think so. I don't think they do. All right. So recommended mics. I have the PR40. I mentioned it's roughly 400, but you obviously saw earlier on the Amazon site that it's 350. It's a very good mic. I've also used the Shure SM7Bs. Those are way down into the professional audio musician type area. It may be overkill for ham radio. I guess it depends on how wide of bandwidth you're transmitting on and the level of fidelity you're looking for. But pretty good mics too, very expensive. But if you want to do something cheap, Heil has a PR20 and a PR22 that go for about $100, which is pretty good. The Shure SM58 is the absolute workhorse of the audio industry. It's been around forever, and they are very easy to get, very inexpensively. You can see the eBay listings there to the right. $65 or best offer. There's one that's actually taking bids. It's at $48 right now. And then you have one that's $77 for buy it now price, which is like great. It's brand new. Great mics, good stuff. They've been around forever. So yeah, take that for what it's will. Cameron has a comment there. The SM7B is very overkill unless you're running single sideband. Indeed, yeah, you'd have to have some huge bandwidth. Have you seen? Dawn asks, have you seen Callum talk about his microphones? I've only seen him talk about the one he currently uses. And DX Commander did a studio mic roundup a while back, if I remember right. Yeah, by the way, go check out his stuff as well. I'm not actually really giving you much of a review on any of those. I am merely talking about how you interface it to a computer. So that's what I would recommend. And let's see, there you go. SM58 is a fantastic mic. I used that in my band years ago. Yeah, and they're very expensive. So Jedi of the Republic says, luckily I do music, so having a SM7B is okay. Yep, I agree. Okay, so there was a comment here. ICOM can be tricky with the +8 volts to power the electric condenser microphone. Some adapters use a blocking capacitor if you're using a normal dynamic mic. True. So there's a couple of things on that, and I'll actually pull up a website here in a second. Let me actually just prep that. This is a little bit in the weeds because you don't. Where is it? There we go. We don't actually need this for what we do in ham radio most of the time, but here's my diagram, my block diagram that covers the whole thing. It's really that easy. You have an XLR cable that goes into the 4i4, which you can see there, and there's USB-C out to my computer. Yep, I'm running this whole show on an early 2000s bubble iMac. That's right. That's why you get peak 1080p performance out of a computer such as that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quality stream. Into my 7610, which has the XLR jumper or adapter into the ICOM plug standard. But you can actually see, if you look really close, on the lower left of that picture, there's a little plug with 2 wires. That's the mic input, and it snakes around to the back of the radio, and also has a connection to the Footswitch. So that's how that works. Thanks, Steve Munich, or Munich. Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Skylar says, oh boy, Skylar, I won't flame you on this one. What is a good radio if you decide to go HF? Totally dependent on your budget. That's it. Totally dependent. Yeah, this pick is the holy grail. That's it. This is the secret sauce. There's nothing fancy about this. The only comment I'll have is that the XLR jumper that goes from the back of the Focusrite into the ICOM I did have to use a cable that had the 1/4 inch to XLR to go to the Heil adapter, which is not listed, but basically just figure out what the cable is that you need and plug that in. Pretty easy to go. All right, and that was pretty much my last slide. So this is a 2-part show. That first part I said we'd be able to get through it pretty easily on the audio stuff, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the radios I picked up at Hamvention, particularly 2. I'm going to mention some of the kits, but obviously they're not built yet. So I wanted to demonstrate something, a radio that I purchased, because I think it's kind of cool. Okay, this is a good question here. From Ham Radio for Non-Techies asks, what Footswitch do I like? I'll show you. Let's swing them back over here. Hold on. All right, so for foot switches, I just use this cheapy Heil one. Heil has a couple different versions of it. There is the two foot, or it's like a 2-click PTT2 channel cable, which is $54. I just use this mono one that has that mono jack that goes literally into that adapter that I have, that converter. Really simple, really simple. Okay, so it was mentioned in the chat earlier. What do you do if you have a microphone that is like a Shure SM7B, and actually this PR40, I do have what's called a Cloudlifter in the middle. If you are using some of the cheaper radios, this will be less important for you because you probably don't have to preamp it as much. The Focusrite Scarlett has a pretty decent amount of preamp already, but for some of the more heavy to drive microphones, you may need what's called an inline preamp. I generally use a Cloudlifter. They are not expensive. It's $150. Basically, what it does, as you can see here, uses phantom power to give passive mics up to 25 dB without passing phantom power onto the mic. I have found that generally when you're running something like an SM7B, less so with the PR40, but the SM7B for sure, if you don't drive it with enough preamp, it sounds... It doesn't sound good, particularly on like when I do the podcasts. The problem is if you have a beefy preamp, or maybe not so beefy a preamp, and you've got all the preamp turned all the way to the right, you're going to end up with a lot of noise, background noise that the preamp introduces. These Cloudlifters generally help you provide the amplification you need on the microphone without adding a bunch of noise in, from my experience. And I've been using these for as pretty much since I moved into the new shack and moved my stream out of my office. I've been using Cloudlifters on pretty much all of my microphones. Let's see. Yeah, so Mike, beautiful point. We're largely talking about dynamic mics here. That's right. Let's make sure we're talking about dynamic mics, but not so much for the condensers. So pretty much the PR40, the SM7Bs, I think the 58 as well, also can use a bit of gain. So let me go up here. Scott says, will the 4i4 inject a Roger beep so you can use it on GMRS? No, you'll probably have to have that routed through a soundboard, which could probably work. Are there adapters for different radios? Yes, there is. Of course. Let's go back here. So I have the Heil ICOM item listed, but they have others for Yaesu and different brands as well. I don't know it's going to show up here, but they do exist. Heil has all of them, which we could go over to their website and actually pull that up. Heil and radio. Let's see. Accessories. Would it be an accessory? Is it an accessory? Maybe not. Reminder, I'll probably be on back on the contest. We're going to be doing an after chat on Discord. Link is in the description to join us on Discord. I will be live streaming to Twitch as well, but I will definitely be doing the contest as well. So make sure you check that out. Accessories and parts, adapters. I think that's definitely what we want. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't just say Yaesu and ICOM and all that stuff, but that's exactly what it is. So this is the ICOM is the blue. I think the YB is Yaesu. Let me see. Yeah, Yaesu or Flex 8-pin, $40 for that guy. This one's red. It says K, so I'm guessing it's Kenwood. It is. Okay, good. YM, what's this one for? This is the Yaesu or Flex 8-pin XLR 4-pin. So an XLR 4-pin. You get the idea. CH, should that be China by chance? China radio. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. Only $20 for that one. So yes, the adapters exist and they work pretty well. Skylar has another question. I hope I don't get annoying ask questions. I'm 13 and got my call sign 1 month ago, and you're the most helpful person right now. But 1 year, should I push and go to Hamvention? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely push and go to Hamvention. No, your questions aren't annoying at all. It just generally, when you ask a question like, "Hey, what radio should I get?" That's like a very broad question. Usually, we want to know budget, what you plan on doing with the radio. Do you want to do digital mode? Do you want to do just voice? Is it VHF, UHF? Do you want to do APRS? All those fun stuff. So sometimes the answer is, I don't know what I want to do. And that's the case. It comes down to more budget and then trying to find you something that is kind of all around, a well-rounded radio, or, for the idea. Hey, Steve, thanks for the super chat again. Appreciate it. So thanks for sending it. Okay. Can you recommend a good mic boom? Yeah, I have two recommendations. The Heil one is pretty good. So let's go to booms, but can be a little spendy. So where is there? This is the boom. Yeah, this is 115, which is a little expensive, but it's real nice. It's a good boom. And there are clones of this on Amazon. I'm not saying to go buy that, but they have a less expensive version that looks more like one of those lamps that you had as a kid with the springs on the side, right? That's $80. You can get that, and it's so it has the mounting. Let me go back here because this is going to be confusing otherwise. A lot of these boom mics, where is it? Let me get that. There you go. Up here, there we go. Okay, enhance right here. This little threaded bit. A lot of boom mics don't have that, or you have to buy an adapter for it. So the Heil mics will have that little screw-in bit right here that mounts to it, which makes it easy. A lot of other ones have that too. That's just an FYI. So yeah, you can find more on Amazon as well that look kind of like that. To be honest, I'll tell you what. Boom mics or the boom itself is. They kind of either work or they don't. If they're really cheap, they're really cheap, but they still kind of do the job. So let's see. A trick with a boom depends on how heavy your mic is. Also, good point. And then that leads to a second kind of mention here. I don't have any kind of isolation on this with like a shock mount system. I could, I guess, because if you're probably hearing banging right now, because I don't have the mic isolated. So if that's a problem for you, if you're really worried about, really, really good isolation and not making a lot of noise or passing it along from your desk, you may need to consider a shock mount. But most of the time, for ham radio and Zoom meetings, doesn't really matter. If you're asking me as a professional context, that's a bit different. So let's see. My problem is getting the first arm high enough to get... Yeah, so, okay. So, Dawn, that's a very specific issue. I don't have a solution for that. Except, you can get the riser. So, they make risers. So, this is literally a, 12-inch riser that you then put the boom into. So, it would go up and over the top. Elgato makes a couple of things, too, but those are generally for cameras, like the one I have here, which is coming up over the top of my 7610. Steve, will this video be posted to watch again later? Yeah, it goes live to after watching the minute I'm done streaming, so don't worry about that. All right. Yeah, if it's a heavy mic, a fixed boom is a lot better instead of a springy one. So yeah, so that was pretty much my talk on audio interfacing, and pretty much the focus was how to use one mic for all the things. Again, going back to my very clever slide here, we're not overcomplicating it. It's really all about that audio interface. If you don't like the Focusrite or you find something cheaper, that's fine. Get that. It just needs to make sure to have USB and some level of pre-amplification if you're going to... Phantom power also helps, and enough gain to drive things like some of these condenser mics, okay? Which is dynamic mic, sorry. Which is what you have to keep in mind, so depending on your type of mic. Generally, the Focusrite just kind of works, and it's not too expensive, and it provides enough gain that you're generally all right. Jody has a recommendation. I'm just mentioning it. Jody says that the Yamaha MG12XU is good, and there are cheaper models too. Right on. Mixers also have a ton of value if you're going to have multiple things you interface. Again, going back to that conversation of DAWs and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, let me go ahead and get rid of that. there you go. Bye-bye. That person just got removed. Okay, let's flip it on over to the overhead desk here and talk a little bit about some radios I picked up. Yeah, hey, Ray is in the chat. Ray is at CPAC right now. He says, missing you at CPAC. Yeah, you're going to have to give me a play-by-play of how it all went down. It looked pretty cool. I saw the pictures that you were posting. I hope you're well, and I hope it's a lot of fun up there. So, all right. So, what was one of the items? I got a couple of radios at Hamvention, and one of them was what I picked up at the Voice of America. And I know a lot of you were asking, does that work? You know, what's the deal with this radio? Can you show more about it? So it's kind of what we're going to talk about. Obviously, we got that Lab 599 that's sitting there, but just off the screen a little bit is a Drake radio, a Drake VHF radio. So let's show you that guy right now. All right. So let me move this stuff out of the way. Hey, Tom's in the chat. What's up, Tom? Okay, so this is a Drake 2-meter transceiver that I picked up for $5. I think some of you said I overpaid, which you might be right. It is channelized, so there are 6 channels that it has. And the channels are listed right there. They have 5.2 simplex listed, and that's what we're going to test this on. There is a speaker in the back here. And it's in not great condition. There are these little pins here that are actually supposed to hold the case on. Alan Beckman, be honest, did I buy it because I dropped it? I did. Yeah, totally. It was $5. I don't care. $5 is not bad. And I've gotten more than $5 of enjoyment out of it because if you didn't catch my Voice of America tour video, what happened was I was walking through the flea market and it was sitting flat. And I picked it up and I gave it just ever so slightly a dip, and the whole body of it slid out onto the table. So, you know, it's for a good cause, right? It was a silent ham that had passed, or silent key that had passed, and they were trying to sell the radios off for the wife, I believe, or family, you know, whatever. So I was happy to do it. Anyway, so it does have some kind of battery pack that it will run off of. Interestingly enough, look at this. Check this out. Look at the receive and transmit crystals. So you can see here they have the different indicators, different markings for where it's at listed. Let's zoom in a little bit. Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Solid state. Yeah. Does it have tubes? I don't think so. No. Speaker. Anyway, pretty nice. So I was like, okay. As I dropped it on the ground, I'm like, yeah, hey, that's pretty clean inside. Okay, so I did hook it up to. I threw a 9-volt battery on it, and it didn't like the 9-volt battery. So I believed that it was not the way to go. Also, it has a plug in the back here. It has a plug in the back. It actually does take AC, and it has a transformer in the back for charging the battery pack that's inside. However, when you plug in AC to this, it squeals like a pig. So don't recommend that. Anyway, it does have a DC port though. Where is it? There's our DC port. So let's power it up. And don't forget, oh, okay, maybe not. Don't forget to deploy the antenna. It has an antenna. The antenna comes out the top. So I'm going to try and position this in a way that we can still see it. And one and done. Here we go. Okay. Wait. Hold on. All right, that's about as good as it's going to get. And it has working squelch. Yeah, let's find my Who moved my ID52? Oh, what happened? There we go. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. I don't know if we're... Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. It's something there. It's seeing a little bit. What if we go the other way? Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Obviously, we get some interference. So hold on, let me drop the antenna here, see if it attenuates a bit. Sounds like a Baofeng. Yeah, it's Baofeng technology. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. We lose the... It needs a bit of help. It needs a bit of help. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Hey, it works. Works actually pretty good. Let me get that. Here we go. I'm going to move away a little bit. Kilo India 6. Kilo. Come on. The power cord keeps coming out. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Test, test, test. Ah, ah, ah. I got a good sound to it. Okay, so yeah, that is the radio that I didn't get to demonstrate for you guys. I think it's pretty cool. I'm a little... Obviously, the frequency is matched correctly, I think, on the receive side for this guy, but the transmits leaves some things to be desired. Let's try that again. Ooh, buddy. Do I need to do that? Welch. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Ooh, that's rough. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. I think it's got some problems, guys. I'll be honest with you. I think it's got some problems, but okay. So there you go. Yeah, I got my $5 out of it just for putting on this show and showing you guys for sure. That was worth enough for that alone. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's that. I thought though that it's been a while since I've taken a look at the Lab 599, and it turns out, by the way, you'll see more on these guys too. These are the ADSBexchange.com units. These do some pretty interesting things that we'll be talking about in a future video. But yeah. All right. Lab 599 Discovery. So these guys are, from what I understand now, because of the nature of what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, they're pretty hard to get. And the issue is that basically Lab 599, right, is tariffed, right, or not tariffed. There are sanctions right now against Russia. And part of the problem is just doing business with Lab 599. Getting radios out, I think, is less of a problem than getting money for said radios back into the country from the U.S. So go to Lab 599 site and you'll see their comments. They're fairly adamant about their feelings about what's going on with the war. They are not in support of the war, regardless. There were some Lab 599s that were purchased a while back from HRO, and I think they were sitting around for some amount of time. They weren't actually on their website for some reason. And anyway, when I was at Hamvention, they had them. So this is literally just the only thing I did was open this up to pull the power cord out to throw an Anderson's on it, which I have now done. For those of you that would like to know a little bit more detail on this particular radio, you can go check out my review that I did, which was, gosh, 2 years ago, a year ago. think it was 2 years ago when we first looked at this radio. It's still such a cool looking radio, though. It really is. Yeah, Sean, that's hey, Sean, I don't know what they're doing, but I would venture a guess that that's probably more right, or somebody's uncle in Estonia, right? I will send a bunch of these boxes to you. You just look the other way, right? Okay, so we are going to take a look at this guy. Remember, the whole thing with this is that it's these interesting plugs. Still, the coolest thing though is the material of the cases. Extremely lightweight. If I remember correctly, the only thing I didn't really like about it was these kickstands. I'm not in love. Yeah, not in love with that. But anyway, what can you do? Okay. Got an antenna around here somewhere. How am I framing? Oh, this is not going to be good. I got too much junk on this thing. For anybody that listened to the podcast, I talked about... What was that? I talked about patch cables. Remember patch cables? For coax? Do you guys run patch cables? What sizes do you recommend? 1 second while I get a patch cable. I was looking for this guy. Wait a second. You mean to tell me I don't have that adapter? There's no way. There is no way, guys. Okay, we're going to have to use a different line then. That's okay. If somebody says blurry, refresh. Hit the old refresh, bud. All right, sorry about that. We're all good now. I forgot too that the antenna is kind of on the other side. So there we go. Okay. I need some water. Just a reminder, taking a little break in the action here. If you're got anything, if you're not doing anything this afternoon, this evening, join us on the Discord for the after chat. Okay. There we go. Now, one of the downsides on this radio that I talked about on the video I did was that you pretty much have to use the mic and speaker. Yeah, Iowa Hawk, or Iowa Hank. Sorry, I thought it said Iowa Hawk. It's $1,000 now. It didn't always used to be $1,000. Part of that is due to the tariffs and sanctions that have gone out. All right, it is currently in CW. So that's kind of the wacky thing about this is if you're a Morse code guy, for instance, you have to use the hand mic for speaker. And you're literally, this is the speaker here. Okay. So we are out of band for that. Let's go down to 10 meters, single side band. See if anybody's out there. It has a nice nab. It's got a nice knob, guys. Pop out these kickstands. You see okay now? Yeah, good. You can see. So if I remember correctly... Yeah, there we go. Let's go by... It's a pretty decent sounding radio though, and it's nice that it has this little spectrum display. So better than the KX2? No, I don't feel it is. For a couple of reasons, personally. It'd be nice if there's somebody out here on 10 meters. All right, I'll sit on 28,350 and see if somebody comes up. Oh, that's not what I want. So personally, you know, my thoughts on this radio is it looks the part, right? It's got that high speed, low drag look. Looks like something that you almost see strapped to an arm. But it's fairly low frills, right? There's no internal power. The speaker situation is a little wonky. And that mic speaker combo, if you're a CW guy, is kind of not great. There was a couple of comments in the chat. You know, you're really better off if you wire up your own connectors, which I can totally see that for like having a speaker jack, right? That you could just plug into the mic port and then have a CW key port, which is on the right hand side, which is pretty nice. That's the way you. Oh, God. Get out of here. Should have clicked that. It's good for outdoors. Yeah, Felix Farquharson, I'm of the same mindset as you. It's good for outdoors. And it's really low power consumption is really nice. But we're in a time now where you've got the KX2, the KX3, the 705 even has low power draw. If you were to consider the 705 as like all the frills, all the things that you could want in a QRP radio, that's the 705. This, aside from a tuner, appreciate everybody put your pitchforks and torches down. The the Lab 599 Discovery is the polar opposite of that. It's very no frills. There's nothing included in this other than that nice screen and low power consumption, and the case being very water resistant. I'm gonna go back up to 20. That was worthless for me to drive down to. Was there anybody on 10 meters? Did I miss it? Did I do something wrong? Probably did something wrong. Yeah, SC Flowers, the G90 works really well, and when the conditions are good with the ionosphere, I can reach Fairbanks, Alaska. Yeah, 20 watts is actually pretty effective. The military uses it pretty good, right? The G90 also is fairly low frills, except it has a tuner and a screen. Yeah. Does the SWR at least? Oh, sorry. Does the Discovery at least do SWR like the 705, like an SWR meter? No. It has an SWR meter here though. You can change that. Let's see if we can. Oh, come on. I'll slide over here a little bit. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. You see that 1.4 SWR. CQ for Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Okay, let's go back up to 20. It sounds pretty good, though, all things considered. There's FT8 noises. Yeah, Dawn, you got connectors for this off of Amazon? That's a really good tip. I'll probably end up doing that. Whoa. How did you get up there so fast? Yeah, got away from me there, bud. Quite a lot of people in there. Some kind of event with ships on the air. Is this frequency in use? Is this frequency in use? Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Yeah, apparently. Is this frequency in use? Is this frequency in use? Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu. All right. CQ, 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 Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu. CQ, 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 Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu. Whiskey something 7, come again.
Whiskey Yankee 7, Bravo Golf, Wyoming.
Okay, Whiskey Yankee 7. Hold on, Whiskey Yankee 7. And give me that suffix again.
Whiskey Yankee 7, Bravo Golf, Wyoming.
Bravo Golf? Is that a Bravo Golf QSL?
That is correct. Whiskey Yankee 7, Bravo Golf.
All right, Wyoming. Hey, it's Brett. What's up? Is this Brett?
Yes, this is Brett. Wyoming. Watching your restaurant.
Oh, fantastic! Your avatar gave you away on QRZ. I see your little cartoon drawing there. So, hey, right on. Thank you for the QSO. Appreciate it. What's my signal report?
Yes, well, good to hear from you.
Hey, I appreciate it. What's my signal report there?
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, you still in there? What's my signal report? Aw, bud.
So you're about 5 and 7.
5 and 7. All right, I'll take that. You look like a 55 from my point of view. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And you are being QRM. There's somebody who's going to call in the same frequency.
QSL. Understood. Anyway, just doing a test here. I'm hopping off this frequency anyway. But yeah, thanks for hopping in there, Brett. Appreciate the contact, and I'll relinquish the frequency to the other station because I can't hear them. So 7-3.
7-3, Whiskey Yankee 7, Bravo Golf.
Hey, right on. Hey, it's that easy, guys. You just whoa. You just start up a live stream, and then you can make contacts with people. Where am I? Get out of here. All right, very good. Okay, what? Let's see. Got a bit of time. 5-7 in New York with QRP, baby. So yeah, anybody have any questions on anything we talked about today? And if you have like open-ended amateur radio questions, like you need some help with some stuff, feel free to join us on the Discord. We take your questions right in the beginning. We take as many ham radio questions as we can right in the beginning. I will be participating in the contest, but just want to give everybody a shout that we'll take as many questions and help as many people as we can. So anybody in there with a question, go for it. I should look at 6-meter FT8. You're right, I should. Let's do that now. All right, we are back. I'm just gonna go ahead and start I'm gonna start transitioning over. You guys will see this as what I normally do. I'll take your questions while I'm. Oh, hey, hi everybody. Why am I down here? Hey, look at that. All right, hey. We're going to get set up for the live stream after this anyway. I will be live on Twitch with the contest, but it might be fun to check out 6 meters right now, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We are looking at my 7610. I am going to pull up the digital log once this closes. Hayden O'Shaughnessy, where do you get the queue numbers and all the call signs you were naming off? I have no knowledge. Oh, so generally we use something called QRZ. QRZ.com is where we pull a lot of the call signs. It's a lookup service for that. And it links into our logging software. And logging software is just a fancy way of tracking who we made contacts with. Don. Oh, Don asked me about the Focusrite Scarlett software. It's pretty nothing. It's a pretty. It doesn't do anything other than let you kind of somewhat route what's going on the in and out, but you can't do much other than that. It's very much a hardware mixer with just a barely little front end capability from software, really just for status. Nothing other than that. International Digital Log. Yes, open. Win for ICOM. Good. Yes. All right, we got. That's my radio control. Let's see what that 6 meters is like once it pulls me up here. Are we good? All right, let's try for 6 meters. Try and get some contacts in there because that's the last I need. I think I might need 6 meters actually. Yeah, I do. I don't have 6 meters. Sorry, I'm trying to. Looks like no activity on 6 meters. For everybody that's lost, we're trying to get set up for the contest or reset up my station. I was turned off to do the live stream. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Tan Hat. What would you say the best pan adapter solution would be to complement radios like a KX2 or an FT891 in the field? Something like Android RTL SDR MFJ 1708. Whew. So yeah, obviously, I think Dawn probably has it. The KX3 and the KX2, I believe, can use the pan adapter that Icom makes. It's not cheap though, and I believe that they actually, will work. They have an IF out as well on the radio. So I am trying to run on FT4. So FT4 should be 6 meters, 1308, or 1318, right? Oh, the KX2 can't interface the KPX3? Oh, that's a bummer. As far as interface, I mean, it has IF out though. So if it has IF out, you can actually use that with you can output that into an SMA, into an SDR. All right, well, I don't see anybody out on 6 meters. Don, do you see anybody? Otherwise, we can answer this on the after chat. All right. Well, that's all it's going to be for today. I'm all getting set up here for the contest, and we're going to see if we can pump up those numbers a little bit. I'm a little light. I only have like 50 contacts today. So thank you, Hayden. Appreciate it. Appreciate you getting in there. All right, I'm going to go to the Discord. We'll be live streaming to Twitch as well, so if you follow me at Ham Radio Crash Course on Twitch, you can follow all the action. It's just going to be just like this, but it's me on Twitch, and we'll be doing some FT8 working the contest. It's a contest weekend for digital modes. Basically, all digital modes but RTTY are up from grabs as long as you can make a contact by exchanging information. So you could be using SSTV for all you want. Pretty sure that counts. Does that count? JSA call? Sure, knock yourself out. Why not? All right, guys, I'm going to say a big thank you to my patrons. This show is for you this week. I hope you enjoyed it. This was based off of your votes, getting in there and talking about microphones, what you guys wanted to hit, and get a little bit more info on interfacing them specifically with your computer and your radio at the same time, and save some money, because then you only need to buy one microphone. You can buy a good one like this PR40, or, you know, whatever, and have one mic, one simple solution instead of a bunch of wires going to different microphones, one for your Zoom on your computer, one for your radio. Save a bunch of time, do it all in one shot. For those of you that have a nice shack that's actually on your desk, like where you do all your other living, for those of you that have a ham radio shack setup like that, where you know, your radio is in a co-located location with all your other stuff, that's actually pretty cool. So hopefully this helped get you going in that area. We've got a bunch of other live streams planned that are going to be fun the rest of this month, and got some more, maybe some on-the-road time for a live stream. We'll see how it all plays out in the coming weeks here. But yeah, anyway, I thank you again, guys. Appreciate you taking the time. If you can, if you waited this far and you have not already, hit that thumbs up. It would mean a lot. I appreciate it. Let's get over to 20 meters right now. In fact, now I'll take that back. Let's go to 10 meters. We'll work our way from high to low. All right. Where am I at? There we go. Okay. 73, everybody. I'll catch you on Discord. The link is in the description again, and we'll see you. All right? 73. Enjoy the memes. Play out. All those things. Just words. Oh, we got some signals out on... Oh, no, we don't. Never mind. 10's dead. May have to wait a little bit later. Check in then. Going back to 15. All right, catch you on the Discords. See ya.